They all do it the same. They all do it the same way. Oh, wait. You guys don't want to hear me play. Let's check out a song from the last show, Guilford Night 2, Write a Song. Reynolds. I've been to 3 out of 5 of the last EMB shows, and they play Drive and Drive Out. On both of the shows I did not get to go to. Yo, I'm mad right now. Your boy Concer 34 is upset, but happy for those who got to experience this show and the other shows. But bruh, how does that happen? So I went to Mansfield last Friday, Skip, Merriweather. They played Drive In, Drive Out. I'm like, all right, all good, fam. I'm going to go to Guilford, New Hampshire for 2 more shows on a whim. Get the tickets secured, right? Have a nice tailgate both night. Oh, no, second night. First night I was rushing late. They don't play it. I turn on Sirius XM radio. Your boy here is Drive In, Drive Out. I'm like, bruh, Dave, what are you doing? All jokes aside, what a show tonight. What a show tonight. This was I think this was the best overall show of the tour. And we're going to pull up the set list here so you guys can take a look. I'm sure some of you guys have seen this. If anyone gets the set list picture, let me know. And I will, send it to me. We'll figure out a way to find it so I can post it up here. But this is the best overall show of the tour, hands down. Hands down, best show of the tour. And here's why, right? You could go head to head with any other show and say, hey, well, Concer, they played the Stone last Friday. Yes. They played Captain, right? They played JTR, right? They've played Sweet Up and Down. But so the encore was I'll Back You Up and You Might Die Trying. Well, that's a heck of a switch up. But you could say, yeah, there are individual songs, and there's maybe two song runs. When I think of Say Goodbye, when I think of Merriweather, Columbia, Maryland, you had a Say Goodbye and Drive In, Drive Out back to back with an awesome drum transition from Drive In, Drive Out to Say Goodbye. Yeah, there were moments, right? I was at the show, which, this isn't a show close to being best of tour, but I went to night 1 of Guilford, and there was a special tribute to the Rolling Stones, some teases, and then Satisfaction, right? So there's definitely moments that were great in other shows, but this was just the best overall, even with the Samurai Cop. I mean, imagine if they didn't play Samurai Cop and they threw in another gym. This would just be even better. This had a nice balance, and you had a lot of gyms. You had yet another tour debut. I believe this is 15 shows straight of a tour debut. We are getting a new song, and that's impressive. They are expanding this catalog. And they always do this every year, but they're doing this in a shorter period of time. They have more touring, and August and September are packed because there's no shows in June, July. They're just playing. They rescheduled shows. They moved shows to September. We're going to have a nice run here, folks. We're going to have a nice run. And I'm just going to post on Twitter. I am live. And but this was just beginning to end. The first 3 songs alone, I said after the first 3 songs that this show was already better than Guilford Nights. I already knew, they could have still played a couple more, so-so songs, in my opinion, of what I think is a so-so song, and it still didn't matter. But the first 3 songs set the tone for the entire night. If a Big Eye Fish into Bartender, what you had in Chirac, shout out to everyone who went to Chicago, and you had that, but then you have a Pig right after that. I mean, Can't Stop was just a placeholder so they could chill for a bit. Same with Proudest Monkey, Satellite. They bust out the new song, The Only Thing, and this song has like a little bit extra jamming. I'll have to listen back to it again, but this is a song that's getting better on the road, folks. We really haven't had like a song. You could say Rooftop, they've remixed it after a year or so on the road, and they've done some things. But I can't remember a song that just kept getting better and better, like The Only Thing. Is it like an all-time top 5 D&B song? It's too early to tell. I don't think it will, but for where they are in their career, it's a heck of a song. I'm glad The Ocean and the Butterfly has gone missing. It's quarantining right now. I think Ocean and the Butterfly, they did contact tracing and it was hanging out with Come Tomorrow, so I had to quarantine. But I think Windows does not need to be played every night. I think maybe if it's a special moment in the show, but man, The Only Thing is just it's to me it's the best. It's the best of the new stuff, and it's something that, I mean, this is what She should have been. This should have been on Come Tomorrow, The Only Thing, instead of She. Right, cut that off and then had this song, and you could have still played this song, and I would have still loved it. So it's just it's a special song. But you have, Proudest Monkey, The Only Thing. Then you have a P&P Rapunzel, and the great thing about this is a song that when it's been in the encore, it's been towards the later sets. When you're mixing it up, P&P Rapunzel and Warehouse, where they're placed, they're almost switching. They're switching, set parts of the show, right? You have a P&P Rapunzel where you may have had a Warehouse, right? Warehouse can be anywhere beginning, middle, end of the main set. It's in the encore. And then you have a Samurai Cop. And look, I don't think this song should come back. I think it should go missing. I think it should. It's not you, Samurai Cop. It's me. But I think we need to separate. We didn't need you back, but Dave likes to play. He's going to play it. You can't stop Dave from playing what Dave wants to play. But after that, you then have a So Damn Lucky, which is just awesome now with Buddy's vocals and everything. And as much as I've been as much as I'm not a fan of Bayou, this song's been rocking. I mean, it rocked in 18 and 19. But I don't know, man. I'm digging this song. Like, even though I don't want it played, like, obviously, if they said, hey, if you could cancel, like, if you make the decision, Concer is 34, Dave calls me up, I'm like, yeah, don't play Bayou anymore. Maybe with Robert Randolph, but even so, we don't need it. But at the same time, when it's played, it sounds great. And that's this tour overall. Songs that I'm not too fond of Louisiana Bayou, even Can't Stop Tonight, sounded tight. I still think it's not a good song. The way he sped it up and switched up some of the stuff, and there's not as much improv, but it sounded great. Everything sounded great. And then you have, after the Bayou, you have a Drive In, Drive Out. Yeah, Squanto, the Bayou outro. Honestly, that should be the song. The Bayou outro is the only part I really like of the song. The verses are trash, right? The breakdown and jam is what it just should be, an interlude. Like Anyone Seen the Bridge. It's funky, it's smooth, it's awesome. Buddy's usually standing up. He usually gets up like this and is bouncing up and down. Dun, 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 dun. Like, that's what I like. But yeah, get rid of the first 5 minutes. I agree with that. But Drive In, Drive Out, and then Sledgehammer. Now, again, here's the thing with Sledgehammer. I got the tour debut in Guilford night 2. It's going for a second consecutive night. I think if it's used sparingly, Sledgehammer will be great. I don't think we need it every other night, right? Maybe do it once a week at best, if not once every other week on this tour. It gets the crowd going, but when it gets played too much, I don't know. I don't think. I remember chasing my first Sledgehammer. After that, I was good. I got it in 14. I was good. I love Peter Gabriel. I love the So album. Live in Athens, I always say this is one of my favorite live albums of all time. Peter Gabriel, Live in Athens. Look that up, 1987. Probably one of the best. You want to talk about bringing the studio stuff to life. And also, by the way, Gabriel and Mr. Matthews used Mr. Steve Lillywhite for some of their music, but that album brings the stuff to life. So look at that, Peter Gabriel, Live in Athens, 1987. Check it out. So yeah, we get Sledgehammer, and then after that, we get A Lying in the Hands of God. This song, to me, is, I don't want to say a hidden gem, but this is exactly what I love about Dave Matthews Band post stand-up. This is a song, I pick it out of all the new recent albums, and I say, this is it. This is it. The Lying in the Hands of God has improved. It's evolved over time. They've learned, all right, they had a long sax solo by Jeff. Not that Jeff is bad, but they've switched up some stuff to make this thing deep. The depth of this song. All right, I will put this up against any other Big Whiskey song. Now, I'm not talking about bonus tracks like Beach Ball, Write a Song. Those, oh, bro. No, I'm not talking about those. Because Write a Song and Beach Ball are amazing, especially Beach Ball. I'm chasing that one. But I will put Lying in the Hands of God. That's not to say YIM is not trash. And they played it after they did a little Big Whiskey tribute to Big Whiskey songs. It's a good song, but it's still rock. And DMB does Lying in the Hands of God better than they do rock. No disrespect to DMB. The thing about Big Whiskey, great studio album, the songs to me don't have lasting appeal live. Right? They played the heck out of those songs from 2008, 2009 to 2012, and they then kept them in rotation since 2012 and forward. But Lying in the Hands of God, not only is it a riff of, it reminds me of some of like the Biggie Smalls and Tupac albums where they have their verses, after they've passed. This is a riff that Leroy recorded with the band, and then it's added into this song. Squanto, I like Time Bomb. I loved Time Bomb as well. And again, it's not just a rock. That's the thing, is like, here's the thing. Funny the Way It Is isn't bad, but the thing is, you have a bunch of it's like Big Whiskey is DMB does rock. And the album is great, beginning to end. I've listened to it countless times. But live, if I hear Seven more than once a tour, I'm done with it. It's a cool song, it's cool. So Seven and Shake Me Like a Monkey, like those are songs that, look, that's not what I look for from DB. Now, hey, they do it right. Great album, great production. And if you hear it once in a tour, okay. After that, I don't want to hear it again. Time Bomb has a build-up, right? It builds up. I love the lyrics of Time Bomb, Lying in the Hands of God, and Dive In. Those are three songs that I love. Now, I think what happened is, full disclosure, I didn't start going till 2012. Time Bomb, if you had been seeing the band prior to Big Whiskey, and then you go through Big Whiskey passageway of the first couple of years of it being an official, that stuff came out. I think people got sick of Time Bomb, but I loved it. I got it at my first show, May 25th, 2012. And I just love it. I love the lyrics. I love the buildup. I do like the energy at the end. It's different to me than the YIMs and the Sevens and the Shake Me Like a Monkeys. Like those rock songs, to me, that's the last thing I'm looking for from DMB. They have it tight. They have it on point. I don't want it from DMB. So, but Lying in the Hands of God, Kill Preacher YM, and then we get a Boa. All right, a Larry Boa. All right, Best of What's Around, and just immediately, just no matter where that's played, it's always a great song. They could play it a million times. Always a great song. Crush. You come in, and Crush was good too. It was on point. They had a nice rhythm in Crush. They had played it the night, last show in Guilford where I was at. And same thing with Ants. They fine-tuned a couple of songs for this Friday show. That's what it felt like Guilford Night 2 was. They brought back Samurai Cop. So Damn Lucky had been in rotation, but they did a pig, right? So the second pig of the tour was Guilford. They sharpened it up for tonight. They sharpened up Crush and Ants Marching for tonight. And then we get to the encore, the best encore of the year, 2021. You don't get a sister, right? You don't get a Windows. And look, Windows is a special moment, right? Especially the year we've been through. But I'll Back You Up, to me, is probably, you could argue it's the best love song Dave has written. It was, I think, the first song he wrote, as far as for this band. One of the first songs he's ever, wrote for this band. And it's just a beautiful song. I remember getting that E1 of The Gorge, and I've gotten it a couple other times, E1. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It debuts here. And then we get a warehouse. And the placement, location, right? You got a cottage in the middle of the hood, or even a cottage in the middle of a rural area. Not worth a lot. You got a cottage on the beach. It's, it can be worth $1 million depending on where it is. Warehouse at the end of the show is an awesome thing. Now, I remember they've done this before. They've ended with Warehouse. Christopher says Steady As We Go is great too. It is great. I heard it SPAC 18 night 2, but I just think that Steady As We Go is a little more complex. It's a real, it's deep. But to me, I would say my ranking would be I'll Back You Up, Here on Out, and then Steady As We Go. You and Me is probably down there. I'm talking about, these are like the songs you really pick for a wedding. Obviously, people pick Crash for a wedding, bro. That's not appropriate for a wedding. That's what you play like after at your when you guys on your honeymoon, all right? Oh, and Chris says, I'd love to hear Number 34 live. I'm hoping they play it at the Gorge. Every year when the tour started around Leroy's anniversary of his passing, they did not play it then. I've caught it on the 12 string in Hartford, 6-7-13. They played the beginning of it on the 12 string. It's probably one of the most surreal moments I've ever had ever at a DMB show. It was the 34th show at the Meadows Music Theater, aka Xfinity Theater now. There's naming rights. Probably one of the most mystical moments, because I saw that Dave had a 12, so you could hear him noodling, and then you hear dun 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 dun. I was like, holy moly! And they went right into JTR. But Number 34, I would love to see it come back at the Gorge. You do see it at the Gorge here. One thing, shout out to Justin Hayes. The Drive In, Drive Out is Drive In, Drive Out has been played the last 3 shows at Pavilion at Star Lake. That's crazy. The last 3 shows they've played Drive In, Drive Out. So someone should have known. Christopher, you're trying to learn how to play it. If you look up on Dave tabs, it's a song that you just have to practice the part. So you have these little triplets. Oh my God, hold on, let me adjust my time. But yeah, man, if you just practice these triplets. Oh, sorry. And then this is just a 1-2. It's hard to grip my guitar with the chair I'm sitting. But yeah, man, just learn those triplets, man. Bum, 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 bum. And just do that a bunch of times. It's kind of the same thing like a satellite. I can't grip this guitar where I'm at. But yeah, man, it's a dope song. Then there's like the breakdown of it. So Colin says, Don't Drink the Water finale in night 1 was great. I like Don't Drink the Water ending. I like it ending a show. I actually, to me, I don't like Don't Drink the Water post Leroy Moore because it's turned into Tim C. DC. It's too fast now. It's too loud. I think it is better. And I actually stayed for that because night one, I stayed for that. I think I recorded that. I think that was one of the ones I had. Yeah, I think I had yep. So I had but you know what though, for this one, I will say this though. This intro, and they've done it some, over the course of the history of this song. This intro is amazing. I like the intro more than the song. My only gripe with Don't Drink the Water is Tim is too, it's become a metal song, and I love metal, but I don't like it with D&B. Like, I like this eeriness, but I think Dave's guitar, I actually like it, Dave and Tim, better than the full band, because the dynamics build up. It's a campfire song. We're taking your MF and land, right? Sorry, folks. We're taking your land. But I love this intro. It reminds me of the 2013 or 2014 and 2015 shows. They would some of those shows, if you guys remember, Tim would kind of noodle. Especially 2014, I remember it the most. And I love the eeriness of this intro, but I would rather prefer. I'd actually prefer. This is what I prefer in Don't Drink the Water. Turn Tim down or put him on acoustic. I would have Buddy Strong's piano parts play, just like Butch used to do. And then I think they should build up. But here's the thing, Squanta. This is what I don't agree with. They start off this thing way too loud. You're taking somebody's land, you're doing it slot. I would rather it be a little more dun 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 dun, and then it builds up to the arc of the song. And Tim's guitar, now, yeah, it is for a live show. 99% of the people, we need more. No, I disagree. This is fine. Look, I'm not gonna like. I like debates, arguments. But I'll say this. This is why we don't need more Tim. The best thing about the Dave Matthews Band is the acoustic percussiveness of it. When Tim came in, that went away, right? Listen to was it here or Scranton? There was a Busted Stuff in 2010, I believe it was. And all you hear is Tim blaring over Dave's parts. He's literally just playing over Dave's part. And his Busted Stuff hadn't been played for years, and he's playing over it. Tim is best. Look at 1998. Look at the other times he guested when Leroy was alive, the tours he was on. That was Tim at his best. Noodling, a little more subtle. Now, certain songs, like I love him on Sugar Will, right? I love him on, Crush 41. But certain songs need that acoustic percussiveness. Actually, Satellite is probably the number one song. If you listen to, just to go off on a tangent, but I love talking this stuff. Tim's parts on Satellite are so absurdly loud. Like the dun, 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 like it ruins the song. And if we listen to this, so Live Tracks 31. Let me see if I have it on my in library. So let's go to Live Tracks 31. Like, listen to this Satellite. This is the best Satellite I've ever heard, in my opinion. Let me know if you guys can't hear this. Whoa, hello. All my stuff. Hold on, guys. But let me just play this in. Tracks 31. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Like, this is the best. Can you guys hear that? Kind of bad quality. But if you can hear Tim, if you can hear Butch's piano, listen. Like, to me, Tim's parts on a satellite they go against the flow of what Dave is doing. But I mean, look, everyone has their opinions. I will say, as my first show in 2012, Tim Turned Up actually drew me into the band more. As I started going to more live shows, I was like, nah, I wanted the other way around. Because I've been a fan of D&B since the mid 2000s, and I hadn't really heard a bunch of live albums. I heard the studio albums, and hearing Tim, I'm like, oh my God, the Stone opened up and he was dun, 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 dun. But as I started to get more into the live shows, listening back to classic stuff, I just prefer Tim to be turned down. Like, this year is actually probably one of the best mixes I've seen in my short 2012 to 2021, 9 years of seeing the band. Obviously, some of you guys have been seeing them for 30 years, right? 25 years. Let's see. I'm trying to get someone on. Let me just see. I'm trying to get someone who's at the show on, so we may breaking news. I'm trying to get someone on, but nah, Squanch up. Hey man, like I said, I always agree with, like, look, I'm not like, you went to your 23rd show at Guilford. One thing. Okay. Like I said, I offer, like, I know it's my opinion, and I always like other people's differing opinions because we can always talk about it. I'm not someone who cuts people out. I come from a family of preachers and lawyers, so I always loved, like, talking, discussing, giving my opinions, telling you why I think something. But I understand some people love Tim. And matter of fact, I'll say this, that as, like, the crowd reacts to Tim very well. Like, it's just like, because when it becomes a rock concert, you get a casual fan to be more pumped up. When you had a couple of drinks, you've been, smoking a little bit, it likes, the crowd reacts to Tim. But me, and I know other people, like, there's been, because here in Connecticut, you can talk to anyone who's about 40 to 45 years old, and if they lived in the Hartford area, have you gone to a D&B show? A good amount of people will tell you they have, or they had a phase of D&B. That was all we had. We had no hockey. Lost the Whalers when I was 6.5. That was rough. Was at the last game, like, bro, this is it. This is my last pro game ever as a kid in my home state. But we lost it. D&B was something to do. Even if you didn't like D&B, you went to the shows. I've had all sorts of co-work bosses and superior, like, leadership people who are older than me in my working career that had been to Dave shows. Their sister, their brother, their girlfriend, their boyfriend brought them to Dave shows. But a lot of the people who went in the 90s like that sound more. And some people don't. Some people like that. But I'm one of those people. The acoustic percussiveness of this is there. All right, I'm gonna call Dave, and we're just gonna do a brief conversation with them here. We can get them on. Hello, Dave.
What's up, bud?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, bear with us. We're having fun on our bus home.
No worries. I wish I could be on that bus right now, man.
Yeah. So we've been doing this bus ride for a couple few years now, where we'll go like hang out with our friends, have a couple beverages, get on the bus, drive to Star Lake, and then like get on the bus and go home. Like everybody's responsible. Like it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, and I remember you talking about it on the podcast. I think it was last year. So when I saw you guys on the bus on Twitter, I was like, "Oh, this must be the trip. This must be the trip." So
I'll be honest, Marcus. I didn't hear any of that. Like it's coming in and out. So, but it was a super fun show. I'm sad. Like I'm happy all the people that got to experience that with us. Like it was fun. Like we had a blast. Yeah.
that's awesome. That's real awesome.
Yeah.
Any like special moments today that from the show?
Anything that stood out for me? I want to say bartender really stood out. Like at the beginning, there was a feeling of like connectiveness. Like maybe the band was connected with the crowd, or maybe the crowd was connected with the band. Between bartender and Lying in the Hands of God, like both of those two, like where they were in the Setlist, like it felt very right. Both of those songs, like it was fun. Like it was neat. Those two songs kind of popped out for me.
Really, really good to hear that. And yeah, Lying in the Hands of God, I listened to it on the XM radio. It was just amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. Like the solo, and then I really enjoyed the singing, the ending. You know, when they add the I can't think of it right now.
American Baby intro.
Yes, yeah, yes, correct. But it's so much fun. It was so much fun. Sorry, everybody here is singing Pearl Jam now.
Oh, no worries, no worries. And we're gonna share your Twitter handle for you and your wife Rachel. So we're gonna show them after we get off in a moment. If you guys don't know, this is Dave. He's part of one half of a podcast called Shut Up, I Love You. And if you guys want to check out, when we get them off in a moment, we're gonna show you the website, because you had an awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
You had an awesome conversation about poster buying. As far as, do you want to buy the poster and go in early, you can't tailgate, or do you want to not buy the poster at the show and buy it for double the price after, but you can just go to the show and not worry about the poster? I thought that was an awesome conversation, and we'll show them a link on that after you get off here.
Yeah, like it's an interesting topic, and I would love to hear people's opinion, because like I understand the people that like posters, because I like posters, but I also understand like going in early, coming out, like getting the poster, carrying it around. So it's very I guess I understand both sides, and I get it. I get the people that buy a couple extra posters and maybe put them up on eBay, ask for a couple extra bucks. Like that makes sense, because me personally, I don't know that I want to carry a poster around with me the whole show. Right. So like I understand. So.
All right. Well, hey, we're gonna let them listen to your segment. I'll let you go though. I want you to enjoy your night, man. These shows are so special. The camaraderie I've had, and I know you're having right now, that's more important than the show, I think, in my opinion, right now. So.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support over the years. We cannot thank you enough. So thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, I'll see you next week. See you at the Gorge.
Yeah, see you at the Gorge for sure.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, so just thanks to Dave and Rachel. I'm gonna put up their Twitter page. If you guys just follow this right here, Shut Up, I Love You is the name of their podcast. These are great people. I actually met up with Dave in Boston last month. And when I tell you these guys, these are just two people. They're married. They love D&B. They talk about their life. I'm going to put the link as well here. So this is the website, and at Shut Up I Love You is the Twitter page. And let me just show you, because what I want you guys to do, if you guys have some time, they had an interesting conversation about this idea of posters. Do you buy the poster at the show? Let's just say let's say you can't have, no one can buy a poster. Like sometimes you may have like my girl, got me. We went to a government music show. She held my poster so I could dance and stuff. She's a real one. Shout out to my girlfriend. But if you don't have someone that can hold your poster, or it's just an inconvenience, and with the plastic bag policy or whatever, the clear bag policy, it's hard to carry these things around. You can't get the backpacks like you used to. So, would you rather buy the poster for face value? Have to go in early. You can't tailgate as long. You can't chill with your friends as long. But you go and get the poster and you have to wait a couple hours, worry about not losing the poster, worry about people not stealing the poster. Or would you rather say, look, you know what? I got a little extra money, right? I've been blessed. I have a good job. COVID, I saved a lot of money. I will pay double the price, right? So I'll pay $120 for this poster tomorrow. Or I'll pay, a little bit more. Maybe not like, $500, but I'll pay $120. Or matter of fact, I'm going to go on a forum and someone's going to sell it to me for $120, right? Because we're good buddies. They want to make a little bit for their hassle. And so that's a good conversation. But if you go to their website right here, shutupiloveyou.com, they have podcasts. You can look them up on Apple as well. Apple Podcasts. Look up on, I think they're on a couple other pages. But if you go, this is their latest on Spotify. So look right here on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. The last, actually, no, what you're going to want to do is go to this one. So they just made one today. But this is in some interesting topics. But week 154, Tits to Spare. Check out that podcast, and they're going to talk about Dare Creek and about poster buying. So check out that week 154 and look up Shut Up I Love You on Twitter, shutupiloveyou.com, as you see right there. Go on there, check out their podcast. They bring in the D&B stuff, and they bring in a little bit of their personal life. And the cool thing about them, they're just real people. They're not trying to be, I hate on social media sometimes people try to make everything seem good. They're over the top, take pictures with their spouse, or over the top flexing and all this stuff. And it's not authentic. They are authentic. They talk about real life struggles day to day. It's not too depressing it doesn't get political. They just kind of have real life conversations about growing up, loving D&B, raising a family, being together, work. Things are going on work. They talked about the pandemic last year, but definitely check them out. So let me switch this back. Squanto says, I had a hard time hearing Jeff both tonight on the stream and at Guilford night one. Was it the same for you? I thought the horns were turned down night one, and I've heard this. I was talking to someone that had been to Guilford. Night one, I've heard the sound is always off. Guilford is, for those of you who don't know, Guilford is, let me see if I can find this on Twitter. But Guilford's Pavilion is so small. The stage is so small that they can't fit the TV screens on. they cannot fit the TV screens, like, you know, the main TV tier screen that they have behind the stage. They can't even fit it. They only can fit 2 of the ribbon bands, 2 of the 3 levels of ribbon bands. Let me see if I can find a good video to show you this, because it is but the thing is with Guilford is it is a venue that, like, the lawn sound doesn't carry as well. See if I can. Okay, so here we go. All right, so let me pull this up here just to show you. But I feel like the horns, both of the horns were hard to hear. But I actually like that Rashawn was turned down. I definitely think that Jeff, I did feel like Mansfield and Guilford night one. I felt like Jeff at times, the horn seemed, I don't know, but especially Rashawn. But if you guys can see right there, if you notice, this is the stage. This is the stage at Guilford, right? If you notice, there's only 2 ribbon board levels. There's 3 of them total, and then you have this top ribbon board. So these 2 side levels are usually 3, and in between these 2 are, you know, in most venues is a TV screen. But this stage is so small that it can't fit that. And the sound there, it takes them a day to adjust to really. And I felt that. I felt night 2, the sound was better overall. So now, again, I still highly suggest going to this venue. Actually, matter of fact, don't go, so the ticket prices go down. But this is an awesome getaway. You're not going to get a knock out of the park. Like, tonight was better than Guilford night 2. 3 songs in, I knew it was better. But as far as they're the nicest people, it's a small town vibe. It's like Fenway Park. If anyone has ever been to Fenway Park, or if anyone's ever just been to like a professional arena that's very small and intimate, but it's a professional, like you're seeing Madison Square Garden the same way. Fenway Park, if you ever go to Fenway, I go every year pretty much except the pandemic year. If you get a nice seat, you're on top of the field. Even the upper deck is on top of the field. And I've heard Wrigley is the same way, and Wrigley's bigger. It has a higher upper tier, but the point is, this venue, this was me at the soundboard. You could argue that, and the soundboard is halfway up the middle of the pavilion. The soundboard here is like pretty much being at the back of a pavilion, the lower level at any other venue. You are very, very close. It's like SPAC. It really reminds me of SPAC. There are not a lot of seats here. So the thing is, they have to adjust to this smaller venue. They have to tweak things. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that other venues have. Even a SPAC that's smaller, SPAC is a world-class venue, right? Shout out to Dead & Company playing there tonight. That's a performing arts center, right? This is just a Live Nation pavilion that does music. You know, SPAC does ballet and symphonies, and their sound is arguably the best sound you're gonna get for a DMB show outdoors. But I had a hard time hearing the horn section, and also some of Buddy's parts. I was lower pavilion night 2, mid pavilion right at the soundboard night 1. So I was at the soundboard. When I listen to the recording, then it's kind of always like that with taper audio. The way they can pick up the music and the sounds, it always sounds better. But you could hear Buddy much more in the recording of Mansfield than actually being there. Same thing with some of the other taper shows where I listened to it on Sirius XM, and then I listened to the taper that was actually there at the speaker, or taking in the speaker, and you could hear Buddy more. And like even tonight, I did hear, but I felt like I heard Buddy more than being at the shows the last 2 shows. So there is something interesting. Oh, you guys, I just realized this picture was not here, was it? This is what I'm talking about. So you have this. This is the top ribbon board that just is at the top of these tall, like regular Live Nation stages. And there's only 2 tiers. The two tiers of ribbon boards right here that you see. So it's a smaller, they've never been able to fit the screen. Any of the Guilford shows, 16, I think it was 16, 18, 21. I think those are the years, right? Or is it 16, 19, 21? They've done 3 years of shows at Guilford. And it's a smaller venue. But again, I recommend it because, first of all, the parking is not as stressful as the other shows, right? You could still be getting in if you get there a little late for the tailgate. It takes a while to get in, but getting out, they have a really nice system. It's laid back. Again, it's intimate. Even the lawn is a pretty small lawn. Everyone has a good view, except the back of the back. The roof is so low, the back of the lawn, you have to the roof kind of almost blocks the full stage. But it's still like the lawn has great seats. Squanto, where were you for the shows? Do you know what sections you were in, or if you like middle, lower, upper, pit? I don't know where you were for those, but yeah, I mean, I had a great time at Guilford. And let's see. Let me just look to see, because there's a couple other things I may have missed here. Like I said, I think Buddy overall, his piano is great. The violin, he's trying to do the violin type stuff. And if we go back to the song chart, this is the spread of what we had. Oh, so middle. Were you pit both nights for Guilford? Or... But yeah, Guilford had, I got lowers for 115, which plus tax fees. And a lot of venues, the lowers, and I got them right before the show. I got them a couple of days before the show. But the pit for Live Nation wasn't much more. And people were selling and trading and doing different things with those shows. Oh, you only went night one. Oh, so you didn't go night two. Okay. I still think night one, the moment of the Rolling Stones cover is probably one of the most memorable things I'm going to remember from this first leg of the touring that I've done, the first 3 shows. I really think, and you never know, even though they messed it up, I still love how Dave plowed through that, and it's a great song. Those are the 2 highlights that I'm going to remember from this. That's the thing is to me, the biggest highlight of that night of the weekend, the week of the 2 weekday shows was the Rolling Stones tribute. I hope they don't play it again. I hope that's just a one-off to pay tribute. They did that. I hope they do that, and then they don't play it again. I think it should just stay like that. And it's not like I don't want people to hear it. I just don't think they should keep making more covers. They did a great job, and to have hours to come up with that was one of my things too. Is it's when you have something like that come up so suddenly, a song like Satisfaction is a song that you can pull off. A lot of times, just being a musician myself, it's hard to get the to come up off rip, and all right, you have 3 or 4 hours. They may have had a sound check, and then they had to come up with something to play. Satisfaction was one that they could definitely get down. Some of these other songs have transitions, they have different keys, they have stuff to get everyone that's on stage on one accord. You got to keep it as simple as possible. That's why you got Satisfaction. You got the tease of bit, and that's pretty easy on guitar. From learning those 2 songs, I remember learning just the riffs off those. I couldn't play it for you beginning to end, but those are those 2 special moments. So this is the best show of the tour. But to do the song count, 4 Under the Table and Dreaming, 4 Before These Crowded Streets, 2 Crash, 2 Busted Stuff, 2 Big Whiskey, 2 Come Tomorrow, 1 Remember 2 Things, 1 Run Unreleased, one cover song, one Some Devil, one stand up. I think the Two Big Whiskey was a great mix. You had one rock song and you had one deep, deeper cut. I'll have a good one, Squanto. Thanks for watching and checking in. And he says night two was a better set, without a doubt. To me, that it just did the memorable moment though. Yeah, is what was great. So they played it at Mansfield, yeah. And there was but thanks for coming in, Squanto. But you have Under the Table and Dreaming, Before These Crowded Streets really being the mainstays of this show, and those are two great albums. Any of the big three, Crash, Before These Crowded Streets, Under the Table and Dreaming, those are the top, played stuff. You had an awesome for busted stuff, and this is where the song spread doesn't tell the story, right? Even a Digging a Ditch, which is it's a great song, it's a rare song, but to have Big Eye Fish and Bartender, those are two of the best songs from busted stuff. You Never Know is probably up. You could argue, but You Never Know is the best song on that album. Raven is up there, but Big Eye Fish and Bartender are songs that those are solid. When you see two busted stuff, that's awesome. When you see Before These Crowded Streets and one of those songs is Pig, that's solid. That's what really makes this show. The song spread doesn't always tell. Like you could say, oh, I want them to play their old stuff. Well, if it's Satellite, Satellite's on Under the Table and Dreaming, right? And the Satellite was played tonight, but if it's like, Satellite is one of those Crash songs, and Crash is me. Again, a good song. Not say like I don't want to hear it ever, but when you have if it's Satellite and Crash Into Me, that's different than Say Goodbye and Let You Down, or Say Goodbye and even a 41 and Say Goodbye. That's a solid night. Or a Drive In, Drive Out 41, or Drive In, Drive Out Say Goodbye, which they had in Merriweather. When you see those Crash songs, and it's what songs were chosen, even from the classic stuff. And I think that was a great thing to see that. And like the Come Tomorrow, for instance, if the Come Tomorrow was probably the weakest of this stuff for the twofers, because you had Can't Stop and you had Samurai Cop. If that was Virginia in the Rain and Black and Bluebird, then I want to hear more Come Tomorrow. But anything else, pretty much, I don't want to hear it. But everyone's different. I just think overall these shows are giving people a little bit of everything. And the Friday and Saturday shows have been better. You had a midweek Guilford, but the Friday and Saturday shows, Mansfield, Merriweather, and now we have Burgettstown. These one-off shows have been amazing. And while you can't discount, I think the first weekend of shows is just in a category on its own because it was just the first weekend of shows. But when I look back at the Raleigh show and when I look back at the Charlotte show, I think physically the people who were there, they said it was so emotional to see D&B. They were really back. They brought Gray Street Third Verse back for good, right? But when you take that aside, the last couple of Fridays and Saturdays have just been like, you're like, wait, Raleigh what? Raleigh who, right? They've really added on that. That happens every tour, right? I don't think you can discount how great and special the first show was in Raleigh, right? Just because it's the first show. But once you take that aside, when you just look at the sets, they have done a lot more. But any show this year, I think is just special. The band has sounded great. Overall, the band sounds great. And I got to give the band credit. Dave talked to Ari on Sirius XM and said, he more along the lines, he's thinking about what he plays every Friday night to try to mix it up. So and you can see when you look at these sets, every Friday night concert series, yes, you're going to have repeats. Okay. This band has repeats. And even a lot of the big thing, I think Squanto said it earlier in the chat, missed it. But a lot of people were saying, right, Mansfield and Guilford Night 1 were the same show almost, like 7 or so repeats. Well, there just happened to be that the band went Saturday to a different Mid-Atlantic, and they went back to Guilford because of the way the rescheduling went. So it just happened to be that these shows were one, there was only one show in between them, and it was like pretty much similar. But the band is going to do that. But for Friday nights, for the listeners that can listen on Sirius XM, and for the people at those shows, there is just a long-standing diversity in how they're playing this stuff. It's getting better. The only thing is getting better. You have a drive-in, drive-out that comes in, right? You have a Big Eye Fish into Bartender, which they did. I believe that was Chicago night 8/6/21. Oh, that was a Friday night, but they put it at the beginning, right? And they have a pig there. So they're doing different things. You're going to see a lot of songs overlap if you listen to every Friday night concert series, but they're making a conscious effort. Dave is bringing in the drive-in, drive-out, right? He's closing with the Warehouse. He's bringing in I'll Back You Up on a Friday night. I mean, you could now. I think Virginia Beach is going to be great as well as we come on tomorrow, but the Friday night didn't have Jimmy. So even though the Saturday show may have a bunch of heavy hitters, you didn't have a Jimmy tonight. To me, that's a big thing. It's a big thing because you don't have Jimmy and you have a lot of just solid stuff, right? Really, really good stuff that can fit in because you don't have a 45-minute Jimmy thing. Now, tomorrow's going to have a lot of great things, but there will be that Jimmy thing that comes in. Most likely, right? You're going to have that, and then that's going to take up spots, but it is what it is. That's what the band does. And Jimmy thing is, I wish it was shorter, but it is a fun. I mean, it gets the crowd going. It is a nice sing along, but it does take up too much space, man. They need to cut that thing down to 8 minutes, and then do your segue if you want to do the segue. It's like almost 20 minutes that it can clock in at. I just think that's way too long. Actually, I think going to Guilford Night 2, Seek Up really should be what Jimmy Thing is. By that, I mean, Jimmy Thing is a way for the horns to display how talented they are. It gives them time to jazz out and jam out. And I think Seek Up actually does that. And I'm listening to it, Guilford Night 2, being there. I was closer than I typically am at a show. Usually I am mid-pavilion on average. Sometimes closer, sometimes further, but seeing that interaction, I was on the side of Jeff and Rashawn. It was really, really cool to see that display of their talents. And I got to give Rashawn credit because a lot of times I've been upset with his squealing, but man, I feel like it's been better this year. He still does go pretty high in the registers, but I really like how he's been playing this year compared to previous years. And Seth Berry, he would comment, I would like Jimmy Thing if it was not going to take up 20% of the show. I agree. That's the thing. If it was a 6, 7, 8 minute, thing, that's fine. And my argument is always that too. You're like, oh, what? You can't handle a long jam? No, I can handle a 20-minute two-step, right? Actually, I prefer two-step to be short. That's a bad example. I can handle a 20-minute Seek Up, right? But Seek Up and Jimmy Thing are two different things. It just takes forever. And really with D&B, most of the jams can be wrapped up, right? The band early in its career had some things right. Jimmy Thing being shorter was one of those things that was right. Even I actually like the two-step. Listen, I will take a 15-minute two-step like I had in Mansfield, right? I'm not going to complain about that because it was special to get that song. But actually, my favorite two-steps are some of these mid-90s two-steps where it's only, 10 minutes, right? 8 to 10 minutes. So that's the thing is I think that some of the best stuff, the quality over the quantity can be a thing. And I think some of the jams go too long. But I agree. If Jimmy Thing wasn't 20% of the show, because it just cuts off any potential momentum to be like, oh, we can play this, we can play that, we can play this, we can play that. It really impacts it. And that's how I was thinking night 2 of Guilford, knowing there wasn't going to be a Jimmy Thing, they were able to bring in a couple of different things, like write a song. You don't get that if Jimmy is played. And interestingly enough, Lion Our Graves, let's see the last time. Lion Our Graves I have not heard Lion Our Graves Let's see when it was last played. Now, again, it is a song that's a little rare, but I was expecting to get that in the 2-night. It was not. Lie in Our Graves. It was played 8/14/21 and 8/6/21. So that was Deer Creek. Deer Creek Night 2 was the last Lie in Our Graves, so it's kind of gone away a little bit. We'll see if it'll definitely be back for the Gorge. I mean, I can't imagine them not playing. Yeah, so Lie in Our Graves was played 11 minutes. Yeah, so they played it, and that was an awesome, Tim killed that. So and that's actually, I do like Tim on that too. I talk about but when he solos, again, he kind of has the ability to solo and do his thing. I just think, and he's not playing over Dave because he's soloing. You could argue Deer Creek, this Deer Creek show you could make a case for it being better. I just think the Encore, I mean, this is a heck of a show. Deer Creek Night 2. You can make a case for Deer Creek Night 2 because it does have Lie in Our Graves. I just think there was something about tonight that the first 3 songs. Now, look, You Never Know, One Sweet World, Seek Up. You do, that's a solid, and you do have a Can't Stop. So they're using Can't Stop as like a little break. If you notice that, Can't Stop in the 4 spot tonight and back Deer Creek Night 2. Deer Creek Night 2. You can make a case for Deer Creek Night 2. I just think the Big Eye Fish, the bartender, and they almost got Captain. Yeah, I mean, I would almost say if Deer Creek did have Captain, it would be up there. But you have a Jimmy thing. Yeah, you have a Jimmy thing. You have. So I don't know. You could make an argument for Deer Creek Night too. I think that you could do that. There's a Minarets. Yeah, I mean, Pig, Walk Around the Moon. But there is an Everyday, so you could say that. But there is a Gray Street, right? I think Everyday is a minus, although people like it. But I think, bro, we don't need any more Everydays. I've been everydayed out. I got it 2 out of the 3 shows I've been to. Again, Michael, good to see you, man. You may want to catch the replay, Michael, if you're just coming in. Last hour we've talked about some things. We had someone call in, but what we're saying is for best show of just on paper, and a little bit of listening, maybe not, outside of being at every show on the tour, listening to the shows. Deer Creek Night 2 is, you could argue for that, but I think tonight's show may have been a little, maybe just a hair better. Oh, by the way, check this out. This is my new wallpaper. That's my new wallpaper. This is from Mansfield. Anyone who's been to Mansfield, not Mansfield, there's a Mansfield, Connecticut, which is actually by the University of Connecticut in stores. Mansfield, Mass. They have these awesome camera wells at the top on the poles, and then they have some catwalks. This is a shot from last Friday that Dave's the cameraman officially took. I love this shot. I wish I could sit here, chill up here and see this overhead view. But this was an awesome fuss. Yup, I'm taking the Gorge away to put this up. I had the Gorge as my background, and I will be at the Gorge next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm excited. I will not be streaming on Sunday because your boy is going straight from the show. I'm going to chill and camping and then drive back up to the airport. I got an early flight out first thing in the morning. But I'll be at the Gorge next week. It's weird. This is actually I think this is the first. This is definitely the first time I've gone to Dave Matthews Band shows for 3 consecutive weeks. When we're talking about Friday. I went to Mansfield last week. Technically last week. It seems like it's all the same week. But John, that's your wallpaper. Nice. Oh, Seth, you're going to be in Premiere. We'll have to connect. If you're on Twitter, if you can get on Twitter, just message me or something. If you have Twitter, at ConcerViz34. Because I did meet up with some people this weekend, and it was awesome to catch up with Justin and Daniel. These are more Twitter people. They don't necessarily come on this stream. Or they may be on here. Shout out if you guys are, but they don't comment as much, but they definitely support, and they're more interactive on Twitter. And Greg H. from Connecticut on the shoreline. I met him. So it was nice to catch up with people, meet people for the first time, and like, like, hey man, you're really here, right? This is really Concer 34. Yeah, it's dope. You'll find if you hang out with me, I'm pretty much the same guy on the camera than off. And it was nice to hang out with some people. But yeah, if you're on Twitter, or if you just message me on Twitter or Instagram ConcerViz34 and say, hey man, I'll be X, Y, and Z, and we'll try to meet up during the day. But yeah, this is just an awesome photo. I love it. And the only way I would love to get I wish that for the Gorge, they would take a picture, the professional photos that they would get out there early in the day and get at the top of the hill, even before the sun sets, and just take a picture of the overall crowd. A lot of times with the Gorge, they have these close-ups and zooms into the stage, or it's already nighttime. They may have a wide shot at nighttime. I would love to get one during the day where they just look out over the Gorge, and that's one of the pro shots. But I'm excited for the Gorge. And listen, as you may see me, if you see me come on, this is the thing I want to let you know. If you see me come on for the Gorge and I'm talking about Setlist, just keep in mind that's an afterthought. That's just the part of my brain that's saying, look, from a statistical point, this is what we have. If we get a JTR, it'll be the first JTR in the Western time zone since I think 02. I think it's 02 is the last JTR in the Western or Pacific time zone. Right. I may pull that out. I may say, oh, we didn't get this, this, and this. But when I was at the Gorge in 2019, it was the best time of my life. Not because of what was being played, even though I was mad about the Watchtower ending. I was a little upset about that. I won't lie. It is just, there's nothing like it. I loved driving the 40 minutes every day from where I was, because I don't camp. I actually liked hanging out, and I'm going to check out a couple different towns this time. But I like having the hotel and driving up. It was like during the daytime driving to the Gorge, it was so much fun. It's the same drive and it's just flat, but it's so amazing out there. And I almost drove 2,000. I think it was like 1,200, 1,300 miles. I should be dropping a video about my experiences in 2019. I was able to get on a Dropbox, some of it from an old cell phone of mine. And I'm going to try to edit that video and post it up this week. But I'm excited for what's coming up. We'll be on tomorrow. Stay tuned. I don't know if my friend Dave is going to be able to get on. I was trying to get him. Rest in peace to Charlie Watts. I have a good friend who knows the Rolling Stones. Like literally like his father, when they came overseas, he was just, back in the day, you could just meet, man, if you really knew spots, if you hung out and you were cool, they had roadies and all these people. They just, and my friend's dad is one of those guys, and he's still around, and he's a cool dude. He has a lot of awesome stories, and one of the best ones I remember is he says there's two American art. We were going to one of the last Allman Brothers Band shows, the posters back there, and this dude has been around. Like he's hung out with The Who, and specifically The Who, I don't know what the Grateful. He knows people around the Grateful Dead community that like have been stage managers, backstage, all that stuff, and he's hung out with the Stones. But like he has a lot of stories. But he told me one thing. We're going to Allman Brothers Band show. I brought my boy Dave, and he said there are two American art forms: Indian sand art and the blues. And I was like, wow, boom, mic drop. Those are the two originally made American art forms. Is the blues and Indian sand art. Those are two unique things that they started and the world took it from them, or that they did it before anyone else in the world. And I was like, wow, and he's a really cool dude. But he's my friend Dave has literally been with the Rolling Stones backstage for a show or two for most tours that he was available for since he was like 3 years old. Like there's a picture of him on the stage. He's on the stage at 3 years old in '94, and at like on a stadium tour. So he knew Charlie, he knew Mick, he knew everyone, Keith Richards. Like it's not just hi, bye. Like no, they stay backstage and they chill with them. So I wanted to bring him in to talk about Charlie, since he actually has spent time, broke bread. His father has built that, had a relationship with him as far as just being a friend, truly a friend of them. But I know he's got a lot going on, so we'll see what we can do. He didn't think he was busy today, but anyway, that's another thing I want to try to get. So thank you guys for being on. Thank you for supporting this. The best thing the most rewarding thing that I've been seeing is with the tour coming back. There's been people as far away as South Africa. This dude said he saw Two-Step. He saw that Two-Step was played in South Africa, and he went on and found my video, and he started crying because it was just so emotional, like in a good way, that he saw my Two-Step. And I'm just so glad that I could bring these moments. And I know people say, oh, why are you on your phone? Why are you on your camera for the whole show? Well, for me, I love capturing the moment of these shows, and not just the 30-second clip that's going to be thrown out. I love to be able to capture the Two-Step last Friday and to capture the Satisfaction cover. And for thousands of people, hey, thank you, man. Thank you. Like, I don't get paid for this. I don't make money. This channel is not monetized. I love sharing this with you guys. And I love people like calling in. Dave calls in. Now this is Dave and Rachel from Shut Up, I Love You. But Dave from Shut Up, I Love You calls in. And he just gives us a couple of brief things in the middle of hanging with his friends. This is what this community is all about. And the more I get away from the Northeast, not a knock, there's, shout out to John. He's a real good dude from our brief conversations in real life and offline. But in the Northeast, there's a lot of jerks. There's a lot of great fans, a lot of jerks. But the further I get from like Connecticut, Massachusetts, like New Hampshire was just a whole different, it's New England, but it was a whole different, just nice. Like this community is awesome. This community is amazing. You can sit next to people and just strike up a conversation. This community has sucked me in from 2012 to now. I never would have thought, listening to Dave Matthews studio albums in the mid 2000s, that I'd be here. And even like I said, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. I love just having these conversations. I love exchanging ideas, giving points of view, seeing where other people come from. But anyway, I'm rambling. It's almost been 90 minutes, but stay tuned for tomorrow. I should be going on around 11 tomorrow. And then again, I'll be traveling, so I won't be able to necessarily, let's see, we pull up the touring. Let's see. Yeah, Railbird. I can come on Railbird. Let's see. So tomorrow's the 28th. Wait, actually, Railbird's the 29th. Oh, that's a Sunday. I could come on Sunday as well. I think it's going to be a cookie cutter set, and that's not a bad. I mean, that's what they do for festivals. But I could come on Sunday most likely. The reason I say that is I'll be preparing for the Gorge, but I could probably come on Sunday. They go on a little later. I think it's like 8 something, but they're not, they're probably going to play 16 songs. I don't think they're going to play 20 songs. Thank you guys for the support. I said that definitely like, comment, subscribe if you are watching the replay. If you were looking up videos of the concert for the Pennsylvania show tonight in the greater Pittsburgh area in Star Lake, and you're like, who is this dude? Well, look, I'm just a dude who loves DMB. I do these streams. I have videos of a lot of different things. So definitely check them out. And there's a lot of non-DMB stuff as well. I just feel this community, there was an opening for me to just have these type of streams and share more of my opinions, right? You're going to see on here Earth, Wind, and Fire, J. Cole, Rush. You're going to see a lot of different Tedeschi Trucks. I have a lot of different stuff. Kendrick Lamar, right? I go to a lot of different shows. I record them, record parts of them, not the whole show. I like to enjoy some of it, not taped, but I like to capture the moments. I like to get optimal views of the full stage if possible and just share some of that. And like I said, I like to get the full video so you get the full experience versus, a partial, a 30-second. To me, a 30-second clip is nice for promo, but I like to get the full thing for you, beginning to end, so you can feel like you were almost there. Or if you're going to a show and you want to know what to expect, or if you are getting into an artist like DMB or Earth, Wind, and Fire, whoever that's on this channel, man, especially like John Mayer and DMB are the two main ones. If you get an experience from this to see, okay, oh, that was cool, that makes me want to go to another show. That's the goal of this channel, man. But thank you guys. Like I said, ConcerViz34, Instagram, Twitter. You see it right there at the bottom left of your screen. Same spelling across Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you guys. I will see some of you guys tomorrow. Take care. Peace.